Hey guys, it's Rick. Welcome back to the HD Vibe channel. If you'd like to see more tips, tricks, rides, reviews, installs on my Harley-Davidson touring motorcycles, as well as information about motorcycles and the motorcycle community at large, I ask that you please hit that subscribe button. And when you do subscribe, please leave a comment down below saying I subscribe so I can personally reach out and thank you for supporting the channel. Also, don't forget to hit that bell icon and select all so that you get notified every time I do put out new content. So today, it's a little bit warmer today. It is still in February, but I have got to get the bike out. And I'm out on the 2019 Road King Special. Just fueled her up. And what I want to talk about today is the Stage 1 upgrade and really give you my perspective from, if you will, the seat of the pants. No dyno, nothing like that, but just give you my impressions. I haven't been able to ride the bike much since I did the Stage 1 upgrade. So what I want to do is talk about, one, what did I put in for the Stage 1 upgrade? Two, my impressions of the Stage 1 upgrade. And then finally, I'm going to do a 0 to 60 run and record that and let you know what this bike can do on a 0 to 60. I'll probably do that a couple of times. And we will get into all of that right after this. So the Stage 1 upgrade, I did a complete series on that, and I will put links down in the description to each of the three parts of the Stage 1 upgrade I did on the 2019 Road King Special. So the first portion of that upgrade, I actually put a Screaming Eagle high flow breather that I ordered from, as you may all know, my favorite place to get parts, which is Cerdike.com. That's not a sponsorship. They just do good prices and get you the product that you need in a timely fashion through their online parts. So the second thing I did was I installed the Vance & Hines Fuel Pack 3 tuner. That is so I could get the proper map to get the air fuel mixture proper once I put the more free-flowing breather on the bike. And as well as the other items that I put on the bike. So the third part of the series was really how to install Cobra Pro Chamber headers on a Milwaukee 8. So I will have links to all those videos. I will say the Pro Chamber headers, I am so far very pleased with those. They essentially mimic a 2-into-1 because of the crossover and the chamber that they have, which really creates a lot of back pressure in the bike and also helps increase that horsepower and torque from the low end. And sometimes when you put headers, especially if you do 2-into-2 more true duals, you will actually lose a little bit of the low end torque. And I've gotten some questions on that prior video. And then the last portion of that, which is something I already had, but is obviously your slip-ons. And I have the Cobra Neighbor Haters on the 2019 Road King Special. So let's talk about the cost of doing this Stage 1. And again, I did all of this in my garage with some basic tools that I have around the garage. You don't need a fancy lift or anything, but you do need some time. I would say if you did it all in one day or over a couple of days, you're probably looking at an hour to 2 hours on the breather. You're looking at probably 3 to 4 hours on the header install. And then obviously the Fuel Pack 3, the tuner, that doesn't take much time. It's pretty much plug and play. You spend a little bit of time downloading the app on your phone, as well as setting it up for your bike and the exact configuration that you have for your setup. So not a lot of time there. I mean, that's probably a 15-30 minutes if you really want to stretch it and take your time at most. And then obviously once I put the Pro Chamber headers on, then I had to slip the Cobra Neighbor Haters onto the headers, bolt those down, and get everything aligned and set. So, putting slip-ons, I think everyone's probably done that. Most people do it right when they buy their bike, so not that big a deal. So from a cost perspective, again, I did all the labor myself. So the Fuel Pack 3, I think retail is around $4.99, so call it $500. The headers, I think they retail for $650, so, and I think I got them for $580 or something like that. So let's just call it $600. So you got 1,000 there. The heavy breather, I think retails for around $3 something on Harley. I got it for like $260. So let's just call it $250, $260. So we're at about $1,200, and then obviously your slip-ons to add on to that, you know, whatever it is. I think these neighbor haters are very reasonable. I think I got these for around $350. So I'm about $1,500 to $1,600-ish, $1,700 in parts, and then obviously, like I said, you're probably looking at about, of your own time, if you do it yourself, say, you know, 6 to 8 hours of labor, which for me, it's a bit therapeutic to actually go and do some of this stuff in the garage. So I enjoy it. It's not for everybody, but I'm hoping the videos that I put in a 3-part series will give you a pretty good indication as to how you can do a lot of this yourself. So enough about the cost and putting that in. Check those videos out, but now I want to actually just talk about the performance. This is the second or third time I've had the bike out since I put the Stage 1 on, and I haven't, the tune is probably not all the way adjusted just yet, because you do need to run a couple of tanks of gas through. So I've probably done 150 miles on the bike since I've done the Stage 1, but I will tell you, and I'm not sure how it's coming through on the mic. I think it will come through pretty well, but the bike sounds incredible. I mean, just listen to that. I have to be a little careful here. I got some traffic, and the roads have a little salt here and there. But the bike, I would say, is very, very responsive. I don't feel like I've lost any low-end torque. Honestly, I think the bike is, from a throttle perspective, is a lot snappier than what it was before I put the Stage 1 on. And again, this is the 114 because I do have the Road King Special. So it was pretty torquey to begin with, but I will say this Stage 1 has just awakened this engine, and man, it just wants to run. I will say, even when I get up in the high end, I've run on the highway, of course, hitting legal speed limits, but I've run, you know, in 4th gear, and RPMs are still well in a very comfortable range. So it's been very, very good from that perspective. Then the other aspect that always you get from getting aftermarket headers and getting your stock headers off and getting that catalytic converter off of these bikes is you get a lot cooler running bike. I haven't checked the temperatures with the Fuel Pack 3, which you can do that. You can check engine temperature with that through your phone. But I will just say, from a feel perspective on my legs, I don't feel the heat coming off the right side of the bike like I did previously. It does make night and day difference in terms of the heat. Again, this is the air-cooled 114, so it does run a little bit hot if you don't get some airflow across it, but this bike now is running a lot cooler. And as far as the sound output, this bike is, I'm telling you what, it puts out a lot of sound. The family has mentioned when I started it in the garage that the amount of sound coming off of the bike was pretty much rumbling the entire house. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it definitely, the sound output has increased tremendously. And again, like I said, I do have the Cobra Neighbor Haters on here, which actually, if you don't change out your stock headers and just go with the Neighbor Haters, you do get a pretty good amount of sound out of those, even on the stock headers. It's a very reasonable slip-on, and you do get some pretty good output and some good performance with these. Now again, I said this is sort of seat of the pants. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Hopefully it's coming through my mic that's in my helmet. But man, this thing sounds great. And on average, you get about an 8 to 10% increase in both horsepower and torque when you do a full stage one, including your headers. Some people will debate that you don't necessarily need to do headers to have a stage one. As long as you put the breather on and you put some slip-ons on there, that can be considered a stage one. But you know, I went ahead and did the headers, and I'm glad I spent the extra $600 or so to put those on, and I am very pleased with these Cobra Pro Chambers. I mean, they are just incredible. So hopefully you guys heard that. This thing, it runs, and like I said, the throttle is very snappy. And with the Fuel Pack 3, I can actually adjust the throttle sensitivity if I like to get it a little bit more responsive, just with a little flick of the wrist. So that would be, I guess, my seat of the pants review of the performance of the Stage 1. You know, is it worth the, I don't know, $1,600 or $1,800 in parts to get 8 to 10%? I mean, in my opinion, I think it is. I've done it on both of my bikes, and they both respond and run a lot better, cooler, quicker, more torque, and more throttle sensitivity when I'm out on these bikes. And you know, at least for me, I like to have that little bit of additional power coming in so that I can get out of the way of traffic or whatever the case may be. So now I'm going to try to set up here, and I'm going to do a 0 to 60 run. I have no idea what this bike did 0 to 60 before, but we are going to give it a try today and see what we can do. Now I'm going to do the 0 to 60 run, and I'm going to screen record an app that I found that hopefully will do a good job of recording this. So here we go. That was 0 to 60. I don't know what the time was, but it's recorded, and we will see what we got. I will tell you that was pretty quick from my perspective. I don't know. I let off when I started hitting the curb, so or hitting the curve area of the road, just for safety. And the tires are a little cold because it's not super warm today. It's about 50, 52 degrees, something like that. So that's it, guys. We talked about the Stage 1 upgrade, everything in the components I went into it, the cost, my on-the-road perspective of the Stage 1 upgrade, and then finally ended with a 0 to 60 run, which I'm excited to see what it is. And we're going to stop with today's video right here, and I'm going to leave you with this thought. Life is short. Get out and ride the bike. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.